Starting and running a business is hard, but you don't have to do it alone. Whether you're an established business owner or thinking about starting a side hustle to earn extra income, I am here to teach you how to show up as your unfiltered self, level up your business, and thrive as a mompreneur. Let's embrace the chaos and start enjoying the journey together. I'm Amy Traw, and you're listening to the Motivated Mompreneur Podcast. Welcome back into the Motivated Mompreneur Podcast. Today, I am joined by Tyshon Phillips, and we are talking all about creating personal systems that work for us. As moms, we tend to get so caught up in what everybody else is doing, what their idea of success is, should be our idea of success. But at the end of the day, it's about creating systems and processes that work for us to make life easier. So excited to dive into this conversation. And with that being said, Tyshon, welcome in to the podcast.
Thank you so much for having me. It's always a pleasure to talk to you in general, whether we're offline or online. But thank you so much. I'm just so excited to be here.
Oh, I feel the same way. So can you share a little bit more about yourself, who you are, what you do, and who you serve?
Absolutely. That's my favorite subject. Just kidding. I'm Tyshon Phillips. I am the founder and owner of Golden Admin. And what I do is I work with mompreneurs and empower them to create systems in their business, in their life that works for them, that's in alignment with the life they desire to live, compared to just chasing dreams, letting our business run us. It's all about creating a system for the outcome that we want. And that's exactly what I teach you how to do and empower you to actually do it and continue doing it, right?
Yes, absolutely. And I don't know, for me, systems are so key. But at first, I had a really hard time adopting the mindset of okay, I need some systems, I need some processes. Because my former career, it was everything was systems. But systems really simplify life, don't they?
Yes, I'm glad you said that, because your former career was everything with systems. But for me, that's when I really learned how important it was, because yes, we're coming from a place where they created a system, but think about what we just said. They created that system and you just had to figure out where you fit in, but still you're going according to their system. So we get so accustomed to doing things as other people want us to do it, letting them tell us how to do it, and then we're just going with the flow. And that was me. I was that person. I can honestly say I was a workaholic, where my job needed me to do all of the things, or I don't even know if they needed me to do it, but that's what I did, right? I did all of the things because that's what I tied my value to. If I'm superwoman and I'm doing it all and I can still go home and be a good mom and do all of this, then that's what I was tying my value to. But we don't realize that everything operates on a system, whether you are controlling it or not, right? You're either going according to reacting to someone else's system, or you are creating your own. And that doesn't mean that your system won't connect with the other person's system, because I was doing everything for my job because I was afraid if I said no, if I set boundaries, if I did my own thing, that they wouldn't approve. And then as an outcome, I wouldn't have a job and wouldn't be able to provide for my family. And that's all wrong. That's the wrong way to go about it.
Oh my gosh, that's so true. I've done that too, right? Because we get this superwoman complex. And at the end of the day, really, who are we trying to impress?
Yes.
Why are we doing that? And I think that's true of so many entrepreneurs, that we think more hustle is going to get me more results faster. And, if so-and-so looks at me I have it all together, when inside you're just crumbling. Because it's exhausting. You can't do it all of the time. And we become addicted to the hustle, I think.
Yes. And it's very, so easy to do it, because with hustle, you are expecting a quicker outcome. That's what hustle is to me. You're just so tied to the outcome, and we forget to pay attention to the progress we make. Before we started, we were just talking about sometimes we get so caught up in doing things that we don't even pay attention that we have the blessing right in front of us. You ask for something and you see it a certain way, and now that you are presented with it, you don't even know what to do with it, because you're still looking for the big thing that the other person told you was successful, right?
Right.
Like you say, you want freedom and you think that starting your own business is the only solution. But how about if you are still working for a company? How about creating your own sense of freedom while you are working? Because everyone has their freedom, right? You still get to do what you want to do. It's all a matter of taking control and acknowledging that you have a voice. Speak up, right?
Yeah.
Don't just leave that in someone else's hands. And that's the part where I think that we have to like really own up to, like identify our responsibility and all of the chaos that's surrounded by us. Like what can you control and create a system around that. Like take what you can control, connect it to the outcome that you desire, and create a system in between to maintain your sanity, right?
Yes, because at the end of the day, that's what systems do. They save our sanity. So many things you said just then really resonated with me. Just taking control and acknowledging like where you're at, owning up
Absolutely.
to like, okay, if something at your 9 to 5 isn't going the way you like it, speak up. Are you actually, voicing your concerns, or are you just making assumptions? Because it's really easy to get stuck in these thought loops of, well, if I say something, it doesn't even matter because it's never mattered in the past. Well, have you tried again? We need to make these
Yes.
bold decisions, these bold asks, and it's a choice that we make. It's a choice to speak up, and it's not always comfortable, but that's what
Right.
can create the change.
Absolutely. I agree. I agree
Yeah.
100%.
And something else you said too is like focusing really like on what you can control in life. And that's so key because so much is out of our control. But systems really help get some of that control back. So where do you start when you're like, okay, I really think a system would help me, but I don't even know where to start? Where do you advise we start?
Right. So, assuming that we already have our vision, like we already understand what we want, the end goal, right? I would start with, and people might think this is crazy, but a blank paper, right? Start with that blank paper, open that Word document, that Google Doc or whatever, and write down everything, or a piece of paper. It don't have to be on a computer, but whatever works for you, write it all out. That's always the first step for me when it comes down to creating workflows, creating systems, because what you're doing is you're writing out, you're seeing everything that's in your head, you're getting it on paper, and you're writing out a good outline of what you want. So if you let's just say you are a business owner and your goal right now is to get more sales calls. Okay, what is it going to take to get from where you are now to where you need to be, and fill in the in between? And that's the very first step of your SOP, right? Standard operating procedures. So you have those steps there. And from there, you can take it and plug it into a system like a tech software that works for you. So instead of just saying, oh, I'm just going to give you a calendar link, what are the steps that go along with that? How do you want to attract these people to you, compared to just chasing everyone on all of these different social media platforms, which is exhausting, by the way. But how are you going to attract the people to you? What are you going to say? How does that conversation look like? Have all of those thoughts out first, and then find a system that's in alignment with that, and create the automations from there. Because some things we sometimes be afraid to do automations because we was like, okay, I don't know. But if you know exactly something that you have to do regardless, start there with the automation. And then some stuff you're going to have to deal with and realize, hey, I keep doing this over and over. Pay attention to that and automate that process net. So it's all about like doing it, having it all written out, and being able to go back and reevaluate what you are actually doing to making it sure it works. That's what pulls you away from the hustle. The hustle is just doing, but stop and actually observe what you are doing. Make sure that it's getting you closer to your goals the more you do it, and like pay attention to all of that. And that's how you stay on track to the vision that you're trying to materialize.
Oh, that is so good. And you're so spot on. I've noticed anytime I start to get overwhelmed, I'm like, okay, you have to stop. And that's hard to do when you're in hustle mode. But it's
Hmm.
key. Stop. Get that pen and paper out. Get that Google Doc, whatever, however you like to process that, and do a brain dump. I mean, to me, just getting things out of my head and onto paper, it just feels so gosh darn good. Like my little brain can
Yes.
only hold so much information at a time. But I find that just
Right.
doing that simple thing, and it seems so mundane, so trivial, so easy to do. But it really is key to getting that clarity. So then you can reverse engineer those goals exactly like you said. And if you don't have SOPs in your business, and you touched upon this, like you need to identify those workflows, those processes, and that allows you to identify those tasks that, yeah, I'm sending out this email over and over and over.
Yes.
Chances are those tasks you're doing over and over and over, there's an automation out there. And I just go to my friend Google all the time. If I find myself, and I go back to this pretty often, at least quarterly, of reviewing everything and seeing, okay, I'm doing this task over and over. Google, is there an automation that I can do to accomplish this? Chances are, yeah. And there's a lot of free
Absolutely.
ones out there too.
Yes, yes. And I would say start with the free ones. Like if especially if you're just getting started out in your business and you're still figuring it out. Um the main thing you really need is something to automatically post your social media posts. And a lot of times you can do it on the platform, right? Depending on
Yeah.
what's your main platform. Something to automate that process because you know you have to post, right? Something to schedule the calls or however you do your sales calls because you know that's a part of your process, something to process the payments because you know that's a part of your process, and something to communicate with your clients once you actually do that. And not your personal phone number, let's make that clear, but it can be like something like a chat software or something. A lot of that stuff is free, and it's okay to start with the free stuff, and then you can get more of an all-in-one system where it's more streamlined, but you have to build your way up to that. A lot of times sometimes we just start with the, oh, I'm just going to do this because they say they have all-in-one, I'm just going to start here, and then a lot of that becomes overwhelming because they have too many features and you
Yeah.
don't understand what to do with it. So it's very important to like start there. I like to always describe the process as if you have a destination like driving a car, you put in the address into the GPS, and then they give you those steps to break it down. So they're going to navigate you through the way they give you those steps. However, being that you started with the address, in case you make the wrong turn, the GPS is still going to reroute you back to that same way. So think of it as if you had a map, like something that you're actually looking at. If you make the wrong turn, would you like be so caught up in just, oh, I just want to keep driving, which is what I'm comparing to a hustle. I'm just going to keep driving. I don't want to stop
Mm-hmm.
because it's going to slow me down. But why rush to the wrong direction, right? If that's not heading towards your goal. So that's why I like to say, like, yeah, you don't mix hard work with hustle, because hustle is working towards nothing. It's just working to do more work. Right.
Yeah.
Sometimes you're gonna have to put in the hard work in the beginning, which is like taking your time, systemizing each part of your business first, and then later on it will become a well-oiled machine where it can be like a self-driving car at some point. Right. Like, so just like pay attention to that, understand that you're putting in the time now so you can make up for it later.
Yeah, exactly. Because what good is the GPS if if we're ignoring every time it says recalculating,
Right.
recalculating, you know? So we have to pause. We have to look at that big picture. And for me, something that has been really beneficial in asking myself is, okay, I know this is my goal. How can I make this work? Because so many times we're fighting for like our own limitations more than we are our dreams. And that really holds us back because we're not taking the
Yes.
time to stop and say, okay, what do I want my business to look like? How do I want this to run? And I love how you touched upon like, start with the free stuff. There is nothing wrong with that, especially when you are first starting out. Try it and see if it's working for you. And if it's not, try the next thing. It's going to take some trial and error to figure out what works best for you. I'm interrupting this episode to share an incredible networking opportunity that happens every single Monday at 12:30 Eastern Standard Time. Join us for coffee talk and meet and collaborate with other mompreneurs just like you. Networking has grown my business by leaps and bounds, and I would love to share this opportunity with you. All the details can be found in our show notes. Now back to the show.
Yeah, I'm definitely guilty of it. When I first started my business, I can say I was still detoxing from the work, the 9 to 5 mindset, and I was so focused on step 3 that I really didn't take time and nurture step 1. So I honestly started with that all-in-one system, and it was a lot because I'm paying for this and I haven't even started making money. But I think that stuff is important because in my head, I'm about to be slammed with clients and okay, what am I going to do when I get to that point? But I'm like, okay, let me just focus on getting one client first. And all that takes is a scheduling link a lot of times, right? So like don't get so caught up in like the second or third step where you forget to like really tend to systemize in step 1, right?
Yeah, that's so important. And I think too, it's worth saying that systems aren't just for business. You can implement systems in your home as well that can make your life easier. What systems do
Yeah.
you have that just help make life easier as a busy mom?
Absolutely. I can definitely say one, you asked about summer and one thing that definitely shifted for me is passing on the cooking task to my daughter. And that all started with the system. So she was always the person responsible for doing a grocery list. So our system was anytime we ran out, you write it on the refrigerator, and then she knows we goes grocery shopping every Monday. That's our day that we do our meal prep and stuff. So she knows to wake up and send me the list, double check to make sure she don't need anything, understand what she wants to cook for the week, make sure she has all of her items, and she write it down and she texts me the list. She changed the whole system up on her own, and she found the app where she can put in all of the ingredients to create a meal like based on what we have, so we don't always have to go out, because I told her that try to find stuff where we don't have to like buy a big ingredient to just use a piece of it. So I'm trying to teach her how to do that. So she learned how to use what we have in the house, and then on that app she took my phone and downloaded it as well, because not only can she create the recipes, but we can share the grocery list. So it's so much easier for her to add stuff on the list, and I already have it. So it saves 2 steps for her, right? So
Yes.
that system right there has been working really good for us, because it's like takes away so much of, a lot of times we would leave or I'll be out and go to the store, but I don't have the list, right? So now that I have the app that she took from me, that she downloaded for me, I can just go there and see exactly what we have and check it off, and then it goes right back into her cart thing to say, okay, now you have this in your pantry, right? And it's so beautiful. So that's one thing that really helped over the summer as well. But I'm real big on using my calendar to help me stay focused and accountable for the things that I want to accomplish, not just work stuff, but in general. Like I have my exercise stuff on there, I have my meditation on there, I have spending time with my plants, like all of that stuff, anything that brings me joy and contributes to my productivity as well. I put all of that on my calendar and organize it in a way where I'm seeing a good healthy balance of everything in general. So yeah, we have like everything we do, we try to do it in like in a systematic way, just to like make it easier for both of us, me and my daughter.
Oh, so good. And I think it is just absolutely incredible what you are doing to empower your daughter, because this is teaching her a life skill. And I know how old your daughter is, but will you share with our listeners? Because here's the thing, she's not an adult. She's not like
No.
18, 19 years old. How old's your daughter?
My daughter is 11 years old, and
Right.
yeah,
Exactly.
she's
Like
very organized. All of
our
that.
kids are so much more capable than we give them credit for so often. I mean, I've had my littles packing their lunches since they were in kindergarten because for me,
Yes.
like, I looked at those tasks that were just frustrating to me. And I realized, like, I can't do it all on my own. Like, we're a team, we're all living under the same roof. Everyone's capable of contributing to the family, contributing to the household. And this is empowering our kids with life skills. I had friends that thought I was crazy when they're like, why? You don't pack her lunch? I'm like, no, she packs it and she does a darn
Right.
good job. At first it was a hot mess, but they learn, they evolve, and it really helps build that family dynamic and empower them with those life skills. And I love too how you put everything on your calendar. I do this too because here's the thing, if it's a priority, it goes on my calendar. Because
Yes.
if it doesn't go on my calendar, it's not going to happen. I'm going to fill my time with mundane things that don't matter. It's like, oh, okay, let's just scroll for some inspiration, or no, my calendar
Right.
keeps me on track and really making sure I put those things that fill my cup in there as well. I love that you do that in
Yeah,
addition.
and I love
Yeah.
that you said that, like fill our calendar with things that don't matter. Let's not do that, right?
Yeah.
Let's make sure like your calendar, like filling it up with stuff, doesn't make you more important just because you have to, you say that you're busy and you're making it true by filling your calendar up. If you don't want to be busy, don't do that, right? We love to like prove ourselves right. Everything we say, we make it true compared to like actually observing what's actually happening in front of us and observing the facts, like but yeah, you don't have to fill your calendar up. Like being busy is not the goal, right? So just focus on that. It's okay to have white space. That's perfectly fine. But exactly what you said, fill it up with the important things. The important things don't necessarily have to be a business task. Like everything that you have to do, put it on your calendar to see what you are really spending time on, right? Because
Yeah.
that's another thing, because it's that's why I like to call it an accountability thing, because just like you say, you can go on Instagram or something looking for some inspiration, but how often do you get stuck there and now you're there for 3 hours? And the craziest thing, sometimes you can start just going through and just doing that to the point where you're not even looking at what you're doing. You just have a habit of doing this, right? Like
Yeah.
you're not even paying attention anymore. So having that on your calendar for the time that you set for yourself to be productive with something, and seeing what you're actually spending your time on, that's a real good what is it called? Like when your boss give you a review of something, that's a really good review of
Yeah.
yourself, right?
Yeah, exactly. So often I feel like as moms, we try and like wear busy as this badge of honor. But as you said,
Mhm.
like that white space is so important because our time and our energy, those are our two most valuable assets. And really reflecting at our calendar, how am I really spending my time? Am I being busy or am I actually being productive? Am I focusing on my business when I need to focus on my business? Am I being mom when I need to be mom? Because we
Yes.
get stuck in this like trying to do it all thing. And when we're trying to do it all at once, we're doing nothing well. It's like a little energy here, a little energy there, and then we're just frazzled and absolute
Yes.
messes.
That's what I mean by like I focus on helping mompreneurs reach their greatest potential, and exactly what you just said, that's what that looks like to me, because you are working so hard to do it all to the point where you're sacrificing doing it good, right? You're
Yeah.
sacrificing your sanity at just the idea of what it is. So a lot of that like comes with paying attention to who are we trying to please. Like that's why community is so important to me, because the people who you surround yourself with, that's the ones who you're like hearing their voices. So the next time you say I have to do this, ask yourself, why do you feel that way? Right. And keep asking yourself, why do you feel that way? And I like to tell people to keep asking why, because the first time you ask yourself why is usually not the right answer, right? The response that you hear is usually not the right one. You have to keep asking why and digging deeper. But it's a lot of times it's other people's voices that we hear. Oh, I have to
Mm-hmm.
do this because this is what my mom said makes me a good mom. So this is what I have to do. So keep breaking that down, right? And observe like what do you believe to be true, right? And it's time to reframe that. And that's okay. If you're doing something only because you feel like you have to, it's time to take a moment and say, do I really have to do this?
Yeah.
I can have someone else do it. And I'm so glad you pointed out that you have your kids pack their own lunch because you also mentioned that it's messy in the beginning. Everything is
Yeah.
even when you are learning something new, it's messy in the beginning. But what happens? You figure it out, you get better at it, and it's the same thing with our kids. It's going to be messy in the beginning, and I know I'm guilty of it. At first, when I first started delegating stuff to my daughter, I'll delegate it to her, and if she doesn't do it how I want her to do it, oh, never mind, I'll do it myself. That's something we we're tying ourselves to the outcome, like it has to be perfect. That's why you're going crazy, because you're saying it has to be perfect. But let them get their own idea of perfect and what's perfect for them. And that's why, same thing I do with mompreneurs, I'm creating a system, helping you create a system that's perfect for you. You can watch all of the YouTube videos and do all the things and keep googling and googling and googling, but if you don't know how to create a system that works for you and not against you, then you're going to always be just trying to live up to someone else's standards, regardless of who that is.
Yes. At the end of the day, it's about creating a system that works for you.
Absolutely.
Oh, such incredible value knowledge you shared with us today, Tyshon. Where can we learn more about you? How can we get into your world?
Oh, yes. So I'm on all platforms. My business is Golden Admin. You can catch me on LinkedIn. That's where I shine the most, where I'm sharing most of my content. LinkedIn at Tyshon Phillips. Or if you are ready to like just go ahead and you are that person who are stuck and don't know which way to turn, trying to figure out where to get started, and you want to create a customized system that works for you, then you can just go straight in and go to Golden Admin, goldenadmin.tech/consult, and you'll be guided to book a free consultation with me and share all of your what's holding you back, and I'll help you create a customized plan for you.
Oh, so, so good. Thank you, Tyshon, so much for being here today. I appreciate you.
Thank you so much for having me. Like, this was amazing. I'm so glad I was able to have this talk with you.
Yes, it was a great conversation. And until next time, mamas, stop dreaming and start taking messy action. You've got this. Are you loving what you're hearing? Do us a favor and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss an episode.